cry dry tears, daydream nightmares. Sometimes these the only words that the mic hears. If it could talk back, say I'm right here. Speak your mind, nigga, cause I care. Find a chair, pull up. I should be doing pull-ups, getting my body right. Instead I full a cup up with Hennessy. Know that. Pot for my enemies, quick to pop off energy. You should think first, then let me see what works. The lesson be patience is virtue. I was facing to hurt you, a changed man making a curfew, waiting to curve you. If you come around with that bird flu, that fly nigga talk, high slide nigga walk, until I swoop in like a pigeon hawk. Be all about division, dog, eliminate them. That's when everything is real and I spit it verbatim. I shed tears for my dead peers. The names will never fall on deaf ears. Steps and stairs, we spill liquor. Still on the lookout with a quick trigger. I shed tears for my dead peers.
What up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of What Words Are Worth. And today I got a lyricist that came from Jamaica, residing here in Florida, super ill with the bars, ill with the style. It's a mix of, like Jamaican patois with some, Florida slang, witty braggadocious lyrics. And he's been doing it for a minute. People know him for lyrics. They know him for beats. Whatever it is, this guy's great at doing it. He's worked with Ill Mind, DJ Clip, Scott Zoo, Rashid Chappelle, Emilio Rojas, Murdoch, Cool G Rap, Thurston Howard III. Me and him got some songs together, man. This guy's brilliant. He's one of those guys, when you listen to it, you definitely got to rewind it back because you're going to miss something and you're going to be like, oh, this dude is iller than what I even thought. So welcome to the stage today. We're going to have Napsndreds.
Yo, Words. Words. What's up, man? Give thanks, man.
What's happening,
Bless up, man. Yo. Respect, man. Thank you for having me on the show, man. I appreciate it, man. I've been tapped in, bro, since the OG first episode, man. So, with John Robinson, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Dope, man. Love what you're doing, brother, man.
Thanks, man. The reason I started doing this is because I wanted to shed light on just like artists that I thought were dope, one, right? And with the songwriting and the style and flavor, and mainly because I wanted to highlight my friends that I thought were dope that people didn't know about and understand. That's how come I'm dope. It's because you got to hang around dope people. So you're one of those people, man, that I think people needed to know about. So I'm happy to do this. And man, you've been around for a minute. So one of the main first things I wanted to ask you though, was where did you get your artist name from? So yeah.
So first off, man, this is definitely a needed platform, man. I feel like you the perfect individual to represent it, man. You know what I'm saying? Like you mentioned, man, we both worked together for a little bit right now, man, recently, and we just bouncing ideas off each other, man, and just I'm understanding how you think more when you're approaching like the songs that we working on, man, and it's definitely taking me to a different, you know what I mean, like a different thought process of how I approach writing in general, man. So this is a really great platform, I'll say, man, for artists like ourselves, man, and for people who are interested in. There's a lot of people that ask me too, man, like how you come up with stuff, you know what I mean? And
right.
So this is great, man. But to answer your question, right? As you mentioned, I'm from Jamaica, man. But when I first came up here, I didn't know that much about hip hop, man. You know what I mean? In Jamaica, obviously, you have reggae music and soca music and calypso music and stuff. And then you would hear a lot of hip hop music, but it wasn't. I wasn't really paying attention to the producers or really the artists. You knew Biggie Smalls and Tupac and stuff like that, right? So coming up here, bro, I think I took a liking to Wu-Tang, right? So when I first started rhyming, bro, it wasn't I didn't want to be a rapper. It was more or less I was in band class and everybody in the back were all drummers and everybody is rapping and hanging out and we like pretty much like the bad kids in the class, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But everybody in the back, they was always like in a cipher or something, rapping. I couldn't tell whose rhymes was whose, but I remember I went in there one time, man, and I was rapping and I was spitting Jizz's verse off of the fourth chamber. I think it was like camouflage chameleon, niggas scaling your building, no time to grab your guns now, already got your wife and children.
Children.
And
Yeah.
and everybody was like, yo, son is nice, you know what I mean? And mind you, we in Florida and shit, so I'm thinking that like they're not really knowing what's going on. I wasn't trying to pull a fast one, but I was just trying to get in the cipher and rap, you know what I mean? Because mostly everybody back then was really imitating a lot of other artists, you know what I'm saying? So it was funny when I did that, and then a few weeks later, a dude came up to me and was like, "Yo, man, spit that rhyme again that you did a few weeks back, man." And I did it again, and he was like, "Yo, man, that joint's that's off a Jizz's record, man." And I was like, "Yo, I never told y'all niggas I was a rapper. I was just rap, you know what I mean?" So since then, you kind of say, you know what, man, I'm gonna start writing my own stuff, man. That was in middle school, and so when I got to high school, man, not to make a long story even longer, but my artist name, well, I had to come up with a name, right? So it was called Dread Style, and I still had like a Jamaican accent, so it was like Dread Style. But then after a while, being around a lot of other rappers and stuff like that, man, they'll be like, man, you ain't got no dreads, bro. Man, we can't call you Dread, bro. You can't Dread Style. You got naps, bro. You ain't got no dreads, man. So I was like, yo, man, it's dread style, bro. But then other people were saying, yo, man, we just, nah, man, drop the dread shit, man. We gonna call you Naps, man. So people were still calling me Naps. People were still calling me Dread. And I was like, you know what, man? I think, what was it, man? I entered an online battle, man, called rapmusic.com. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just create a name, and I'm gonna just name it Napsndreds. It's like one word, you know what I mean? Not no space in between. So hopefully people don't think it's like two people. But people till this day still think it's two people, man. But that's how the name came about right there. It's a mixture of like my Jamaican influence and culture and upbringing, and then just niggas like people. I don't know if we can curse on here, man, but people around. Okay, yeah, people around just kind of creating it for me, man. Like making it make sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I saw that, read in your bio that DJ Premier, he thought you were two people.
He thought I was two people. Yeah, he told DJ Eclipse, man, I like them dudes, man. I want them on the show. And Eclipse was like, man, it's just one guy, man.
All right, so when you're writing, one of the main questions that I like to ask is, when you're writing, are you using paper, phone, computer, in your head? What's the process of you putting these bars down? When you're putting these first couple lines.
Well, in the beginning, obviously, we never had phones, right? So, I was definitely writing on Notepad, man, and different anything that I could find to write on, man. A piece of envelope, a paper towel, whatever, just to write down an idea that just came to my mind. But like, I think off of convenience right now, bro. I do everything on my phone, man, and sometimes I even do it on my computer because most of the time I record myself now, right? This is my booth right here. And so everything is on my laptop as far as Pro Tools and everything. So sometimes when I'm facing the computer, I might already have my bars already on the notepad. You know what I mean? But I typically write all my ideas and my bars and my, rhymes, everything on my phone because I think it's just much easier, man. I'm moving around my phone, and to be honest with you, man, I pick up a notepad every now and then or a notebook, and I start writing on it, and I'm like, damn, man, like my wrist getting weak or something, man. You know, like yo, man, like I'm like taking my time to write like the simplest words, man. It's like taking forever. You know what I mean? When I can just be like, so right now, yeah, definitely the phone, man, and the computer. And if I don't got either of them, man, I'm gonna find something to write on.
Yeah. Did you find that transition kind of like you were stubborn to make that transition? Because
I don't even know when it happened, bro. Honestly, I think it was just, I honestly don't even know when it happened, bro. Like, I think it was just, I think I found myself in a space where I had to like write my lyrics down and send them to somebody on my phone or on the computer. I can't remember. Yeah. And I had to take my time to do that, man. And after a while, I was like, yo, man, this is kind of convenient, because I got the phone in front of me all the time. And when I rhyme, sometimes when you write your rhymes on a notepad, bro, like you be scribble scrabbling all everything, and you trying to decipher it like a puzzle. You know what I mean? And so I don't got to worry about that when I write it in my phone.
I think one of the main points you said is that somebody requested the lyrics, and for those out there that if you guys out there are gonna get into like doing single licensing and you know placements in TV shows, movies, and whatever the case, or just in general, just so y'all are aware out there, a lot of people are gonna want your lyrics and they don't have time sometimes to wait for you to go write it over and do that. So I think that's a key point of why it's important to have those lyrics in the computer.
Oh, most definitely, man. Everybody's asking for lyrics nowadays, man. You know, especially streaming services too. If you look, most of the songs that you're listening to right now, man, if you go to the view credits, you can see the lyrics, man. So it's always good to have, man. People love to read the lyrics. I mean, I used to love reading the lyrics if they had them in like the booklet, you know what I mean, or cassette tapes. You had the little the little what do you call it, man? The little inserts, man. You know what I mean, with the credits.
Yeah,
And if it had the lyrics, it was like, oh shit, like you know what I mean? Boom, like they gave us everything. You know what I mean?
yeah. I think that's a sad thing about like going digital in some regards. Like the credits were a big thing for us, right? So
Oh yeah,
now somebody, you know, they'll buy your album, right? They get the vinyl, they get the CD, they may, you know, nowadays a limited edition or so on and so forth.
right.
But they'll know who did what. Now it's kind of like people are just playing stuff on YouTube or wherever they get it. They don't care. I just want to hear the
So
music.
they don't care, yeah.
Um, which I try to like teach my kids when I'm in school. I'm like, yo, but y'all want credit for stuff though. Y'all want credit for your
Yeah,
if you
right.
make a t-shirt, you want people to know that you did your t-shirt. If you make this, you guys want credit. But when it comes to the artist, y'all don't care about the credit for the artists that make the music or maybe painting or poetry, whatever. This artist in general, I think the lifestyle and the value of artists is being depreciated and underappreciated.
Oh yeah. And you know the thing with digital is, man, just to add on to what you're saying, the whole credits thing, man. I mean, it's there. I mean, if the artist or whoever is doing the distribution does a good job by putting everybody's contribution in there and submitting it, but for the most part, you got to go and look for it, man. You got to go. Some people don't even know how to find it. You know what I mean? Like just the
Yeah,
other day, sadly enough, and I was listening like to Sean P's like Monkey Bars, man. I was trying to like, I was like trying to figure out like who produced what on there, and I went to the streaming, man. I don't know whoever put out Sean P stuff, man. They gotta go back and maybe add the credits in there because there's no production credit in there. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
So for
I'm
those,
sure it's somewhere else, but streaming wise, you know what I mean?
yeah.
It doesn't show who produced what record.
Yeah, so for people out there, what that would be is the metadata. So when you're doing these digital albums and submitting your album to these companies, for that stuff to show up digitally, you're gonna get a metadata form that may be an Excel sheet, and you fill out the Excel sheet, and then they're able to upload all the information.
Oh yeah,
So that's is for those out there that you get to make sure you're filling out your metadata so that way going forward, when people are looking for credits, you can get credit for what you did and give credit to others as well for what they did. So my next
very
question,
important. Yeah.
how long does it take you to write? Because me and you worked on some music and we're working on stuff now. And I may be like, yo, you know, if I like a beat or something like that, or we're writing songs verses back and forth, I might lay something down and you'd be like, yo, I'm gonna lay mine in like a few hours. I'd be like, what? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm about to lay this down. Is that always your process? Is it always
Bro,
rapid or time? What's that like for you?
it's a tough question, man. But people who really have worked with me, they have different they have different opinions, man. I mean, not different opinions, but different different experience with working with me, right? Because to be honest with you, bro, it takes me a long time to write rhymes, my own rhymes, like solo records, right?
Yeah.
I think I think because I have access to the studio here. So what happens with me is when I'm writing my rhymes, I don't know, man. Like there's no pressure. But if me and you working and you like the biggest thing with me is momentum, right? Like just making sure that keep the keep the energy going, right? So if you hitting me with something, bro, or you got an idea, you hit me with something, or you might record something. When you send it to me, I'm like, all right, bro, I can't have homie waiting around, waiting around 2 weeks, a whole month for my delivery to come back, right? So I'm like, all right, man, I gotta get this done, and it's really because me and you working together, or somebody else, me and them working together. I don't want to waste their time. But for me personally, when I write my rhymes, bro, it take it might take 2 weeks. It might take 2 weeks for me to finish like just a skeleton of what I want to talk about. And then I might, after I record it, I might go back in and re-record it again because sometimes I don't really know too much how I want to say something until like I hear it over and over and over again. You know what I mean? Something might come up, be like, oh snap, like I should say it this way instead. It might hit differently if I say it that way instead. But if I don't have that if I don't have that time to really listen to it and to have that come to me, then it's I don't know. I might not like it, bro. You know what I mean? Like I need that time for my own solo stuff, man, to really just soak it in and put in the missing pieces. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
it takes a long time for me to write, and it takes a short time for me to write. It depends on the beat too. If the beat is really if it's kind of more up tempo, not really slow, if I don't got to write on a concept, it might take me a shorter time to do it. If it's a concept record, I'm writing ideas down, and it might take me a longer time. You know what I mean? To really deliver the record, the concept. You know what I mean?
yeah. I think it's situational. For me, it would be similar. So, one thing I'll say because we was
Wow.
talking is
I don't believe that, bro.
yeah,
Because
because
honestly, bro, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say me and you work together, and so for the most part, if I'm writing my solo stuff, I have that convenience.
Right.
When I'm working with somebody, I know there's an anticipation there on both sides.
Yeah.
So for me, I think the main thing is when you're working with somebody, despite how long you take. Some people knock stuff out like that. Some people take longer. I think the key
Yeah.
to it all is communicating communicating when it may be done or when what you need.
Right. Right. Yeah, when you're working with somebody. And honestly, the listener at the end of the day, they don't really know how long you took
You
to
know,
write it. You know what I'm saying?
you
They
know.
might take how long they might know how long it took you to release the album, but as far as writing a song, like they don't really know, man. It could have taken you that, like one day, or it could have taken you 3 months. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
To them, they don't. I don't even think they think about that. You know?
Yeah, I think also it's very situational because like um sometimes you can have something that's a song that's due that somebody's paying for and
Oh
you'll
right.
be
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
right. So
That's
the
different.
monetary gain sometimes can force something to be done sooner or
Oh, most
it,
definitely. Yeah,
it can change your schedule. So
most definitely.
when you're
Yeah.
writing, the next thing when you're writing though, so what do you prefer? Do you prefer like writing at home or in the studio? So you got your own setup there, I know, but if you got to go out and about, what's the process? Is it like, yo, I'm gonna write it here or I come there, or you're like, I'm gonna go there and do it?
Yeah, I mean, I think lately, man. Well, not lately, like before recent times, I found myself kind of like messing around in the studio too much, right? Like just coming in here and like listening to the beat too much, and to the point where like the beat is playing like it's background music at this point. You know what I mean? I'm on my phone. I'm doing, you know what I mean, other things, walking around and not really making anything. So I think what was important for me to understand is that I'm wasting my time just sitting in the studio, man. I gotta when I come to the studio, I either gotta have something ready, or I gotta have that mindset like, all right, boom. When I come in here, I'm knocking out 16 bars, like you know what I mean, or I'm knocking out a whole song, and that's it. I'm not gonna sit around and listen to the beat for 30 minutes and not write nothing. You know what I mean? So typically, what's happening with me right now is like I have like the concept of what I want. I actually even have the rhymes. I have the rhymes written and everything. And then when I come in here, I'll just go ahead and just knock it out. I'm not sitting around like wasting time. You know what I mean? And the thing is that sometimes when I do get in the booth, I might like say I might have like 8 bars or something like that. I'm like,
Yeah,
all right, I'm gonna leave the 8 bars. But then when I'm in there, I'm like, all right, man. You know what I mean? I'm listening to the music, and the music is. I'm like, all right, I'm already in here. I'm gonna just go ahead and finish up this next 8. You know what I mean? So if I'm in there, I'm gonna finish something. If I'm out here, I'm more than likely like to just create my own club environment, man, and just start listening to music and you know what I mean, picking beats and just doing all kinds of different things instead of just actually just making music, you know?
yeah. I've been in that vibe too. Of I had to learn my mode, having the setup at home for people out there that got the setup at home. We all know that we all work differently, and
Yeah.
I'm in that vibe. I don't even come in here without the verse done because I don't want to get into
See?
that neither. Just like
Yeah.
wasting
Yeah.
time. My iPad here with ESPN
Right.
going. I got the phone
Yeah.
here.
Right. Yeah.
Here, so much going on. I'm not really in here to work like I should be. So I try to.
Right.
I don't even come into the studio without everything like the verse and everything written. So that's one of the things about it. So this with the same question. So what about you venture out and you got to go somewhere
Oh
to
yeah,
record?
that's a
What?
total different thing, man. It's almost like you mentioned, right? It's like a work for hire kind of thing. You might not be getting paid for it, but you don't want to waste people's time when you're going to the environment, right? So obviously, man, if I go somewhere else and I'm recording, I'm either gonna have the verse ready or I'm going there with the mindset I'm not smoking, I'm not drinking, I'm not doing none of that until whatever I got to do is done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if I go somewhere, man, like I want to make sure, bro, that I'm gonna get something done, bro. I can't be sitting around just like yeah, you know what I mean? I'm already not wasting my time, but I'm already going, you know what I mean? Gas or whatever it might cost you to get to where you're going, you know what I mean? So don't waste my time. I'm not wasting my time, and I'm not gonna waste somebody else's time for
Right.
sure.
Yeah, I think that's a lot too. Just sometimes because it might be a friend of ours, we like I'm gonna go over there and chill. We gonna talk about whatever, and come back.
Yeah.
Today I'll come back tomorrow. But I still think you gotta value if it's a friend or
Oh yeah.
whoever. It's the same way you will value if it was a different studio situation anyway. So with
And
that
just to add
said,
to that real quick, sometimes people come over here, which is very rare. Like, but like even my homie Rex, man, like when he was down here, and he would come in the studio here, like there was no time wasted, man. Sometimes I'll ask him like, "Yo, you got the rhymes already?" And he's like, "Nah." And then he's like, "Just play the beat." And then like in like 30 minutes or something, he'll have something. He
right,
wouldn't even let me hear it. He would just go in the studio and then record it, and he'll come out, and I'm like, "Yo, you want me to run it back?" And he's like, "Nah, let me hear that. Or let me hear that." And that'll be the first time that I actually heard the rhyme written. You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, you know what I mean? Like this is, this is a good work. This is a good work ethic, man. To at least to to pull from someone like that. You know what I mean? Even for yourself, man. Like we mentioned, man. Like just working, man, and just understanding that the efficiency is a good trait to have as well.
so yeah, like how you mentioned, Rex wrote to the beat right there. So do you like to write to the beat or use the material
Yeah, I
you
do.
or do you have
I,
some
I, I like.
laying down? Like do you have like lyrics already written out that haven't found a home?
Most of the time, no, man. Like I'm a musician, man. So I fall in love with the music first. And what I mean by the music, I mean the beat. So like the beat is like the number one thing to me, man. Like that's why I said sometimes I can come in here, bro, and I just listen to that like one beat. You know what I mean, for a whole 30 minutes or an hour. You know what I mean, and not have anything but just ideas written. So nah, man, the beat is what I write to first. Most of the time I had the ideas or I might have like a 2 bar, like if you want to call it a punchline, it's just something that is an impactful line or lines. I have them already, stored in my phone or somewhere else or written. And so when I hear a beat, I'm like, yeah, man, this is gonna fit. You know what I mean? And I just really need to be able to start the rhymes first, and then once I start the rhymes first, everything start like moving like a cogwheel, man. And then I go through my phone or wherever I got all my material at, man. Well, my ideas, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, this one's gonna fall into place right here, you know. So yeah, I definitely write to the beat, man. But ideas come to me without the beat most of the time, and it's usually not in the studio. It's usually me driving around or somewhere quiet, man, where I can hear my thoughts or something.
That's funny you say that, because that's my question. My next question was the atmosphere. Like,
Right? Yeah, yeah,
like for you that you need. Like, for me, I could write kind of anywhere. I'm just kind of trained for that in any
yeah.
certain.
Right, right.
But I would prefer dark. Like not a
Yeah,
lot going on, and
not a
just
lot of light. Yeah,
what's your atmosphere?
yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, man, like it's funny because I say it again.
Or atmospheres. Like maybe it's more than
Right,
one.
yeah. I give you a few examples. I mean, bro, like a lot of times when I'm driving, like if I'm driving to work or just at any time I'm in the car, bro, something will just randomly pop into my head. And I just like take my phone out and I just write down the idea or something like that. Or like I'll be sleeping sometimes, bro. Like sometimes I'm sleeping at night, bro, and I wake up in the middle of the night, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I have an idea. I don't know where it came from, like a punchline too. And I grab my phone, bro, and I type it in the best I could. Some days I wake up and I'm like, damn, what the hell did I write, man? It's like it makes
Yeah,
no sense. You know what I'm saying? One time I was on a flight to Jamaica, man, and I wrote this song called Dolores. And the flight to Jamaica is maybe like an hour and 45 minutes, like an hour and 30 minutes. And I finished the whole record. It was three verses and with the hook and everything. And I recorded the flight attendant with my phone. So the whole record was written already before I even touched the ground in Jamaica, man. So I think, man, it's something. I don't know if it's supernatural or what, or just being just something different, with your thought process being somewhere else. But I think wherever you are, where you feel like you have to do something, I think is the hardest part for me, man. But if I'm just riding around and just randomly just doing something, being somewhere else, ideas is always flowing for me, man.
yeah.
So much more than just being in here. You know what I mean?
I think that's when you go to these different atmospheres, right? Like you go in the car and you're driving to work. I think you're taking less stress off of your brain to think about it. That you're kind of in a sedative state of just kind of like letting it flow. Like your mind is more free, like kind of because you're not stressed or pressured. So you know,
Yeah, there's no pressure. Yeah,
yeah, it's like when you freestyle with your friends. There's no pressure that sometimes you say the illest stuff because you just having fun with it. And I think sometimes
yeah.
we can take the fun out of our own work because we're like,
Oh
man,
yeah, most
you know.
definitely. Yeah.
So what about like, is it you prefer like waking up, write this verse, or is it kind of like family goes to bed type thing, and it gives you that nighttime studio? Because what's so funny is how a lot of times in the studio it could be straight daytime, 100 degrees outside, light beaming. You go in the studio, pitch black. Not pitch black,
Oh
but
yeah, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nah, man. Honestly, I do most of my recordings at night, man, because a lot of things is going on. Like you mentioned, there's a lot of family um, interactions going on during the day, and we dinner time, and obviously I work too as well, and then the kids might come home from school. Right now, it's summer, so everybody's we're trying to find things to do throughout the day. So definitely my time, man, is like and that's why I said like we all married men too as well too. So I stop the whole thing when I'm coming in the studio and I'm in here at like 3 o'clock in the morning every night. You know what I mean? It's especially if I'm not really being productive. So that's why I said like I try to make sure anytime I come in here, I'm not spending more than about an hour or so tops. You know, other than that, I'm maybe listening to beats and things like that. But producing wise and creating records, It's really at nighttime, man, and I try my best to knock it out as quick as possible, or else I just don't come in here at all. You know what I mean?
I got asked a question by a friend of mine called me a few weeks ago, and
Yeah.
they see that our post podcast is happening, working on this album.
Yeah.
They see I'm bouncing around. I'm doing a whole bunch of different things, and they said, you know, how you do all of that, and I just told them, man, you know, I schedule that with myself. Like, I'm not gonna, you know, for me, I don't record until the weekends, unless I really got an opportunity to do it during the week. If it's a paid engagement or something like that, I'll
Right.
that. So what's that like for you? Are you with a steady schedule? What's your day-to-day like with writing these verses and coming up with the song?
Well, you're definitely better off. I think you approach your stuff a little bit more mature than I do, man, because I think I need to do that as well, because, man, I think I would get a lot more done. I feel like I go off like impulse sometimes, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like some days I'll go like a whole week or more, like not doing any kind of music, you know what I mean? And I feel like if I had just scheduled, you know, I got an album I'm working on right now, you know what I mean? So I feel like if I say, yo, let's see if we can get 2 songs a week done or something like that, I feel like the album will probably already be done. But I feel like most of that stuff takes organization, you know what I mean? And then when you have something written down and you're organized, you know you have to go and do that. And you know what I mean? I think your time is a little bit is allocated more. I think you have more time to do more things because you're more organized instead of just randomly just trying to like come up with it out the blue. You know what I mean? Schedule is something where I think it's very important, something that I gotta incorporate in my music, man, because I feel like I can get way more done if I just schedule and organize my stuff, man. Even if it's just this time here is just gonna be for picking beats or arranging the track list or something. You know what I mean? Or figuring out what kind of marketing I'm gonna do, or you know, music video or something like that. You know what I mean? Something relate. You know, we living in a content era right now, so not only you got to worry about music, but you also got to have something in the stash where you got to be put with the music. You know what I mean? To get the people now.
Yeah, man. I remember one time I guess like a little story, but like it was a moment when like I would go on tour and I would come home, and then I just found myself kind of like, you know, when I come home, then I'm taking the kids to school and so on and so forth. And I was just like playing 2K, man. I was playing NBA 2K too much. But, you know, shout out to 2K because that's how I met Midas and a lot of other people.
Oh, yeah.
Playing 2K. But I wasn't as prolific as I could be. So what I did do is I set a schedule. I started doing, take the kids to school. They got to be at 8. And then I would do actually like a 8 to 12 writing and then do lunch.
Okay.
I had to put myself like I was at a real job. And I've even heard that's how Eminem is now. I heard he really treats it like 9 to 5.
Yeah. He clock in and clock out. Yeah, for sure.
9 to 5, and then that's it. Which is I love that approach about
me too.
So
me too.
I've now set myself up with letting people know when I'm doing stuff, what time I do it. So, you know, editing these videos, for instance, I do these Saturday morning. If I can do it, it might take the day, might take a couple hours, but I'm on Saturday with it, and Sunday. Those are my times for that, because I want to do it so early in the morning that when the house wakes up, we're able to do stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm doing that, and then typically recording I may do in the evening of Saturday and Sunday. Oh, it all depends. I've recorded stuff 9 in the morning, 10 in the morning, but I'm on point with throughout the week. I let people know, yo, I have it for you Friday or Saturday. You know what I'm saying?
The question the question I have for you with that though, and even like how Eminem approaches that, like you mentioned, is music is something is a lot has a lot to do with feeling, and the creative part, man. Like I guess you guys are such professionals, bro, that you can. It's almost like you can sit down and will yourself to make the music. Well, in my case, sometimes, man, I can sit down and do that, but I can clearly hear it in my lyrics when I'm forcing something. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's tough for me to come in here and to create music when I don't really feel like doing it, man. You know what I mean? It's
yeah.
tough, man. It's really tough, man. So I'm learning that too as well because what if you never? Because I went through phases, man, where I just don't feel like I don't even. Sometimes I don't even feel like I like music, man. You know what I'm
I'm,
saying?
I'll give you,
Like,
I'll give you my take on it. I think my experience is sort of unique in some regards to a lot of rappers. On the basis of I did a TV show that was about rapping that had a schedule that had
yeah,
there's no playing around. There's no you cannot have the rhyme.
right,
It's
yeah,
we're talking we're
right,
talking
right, right, right,
we're talking about millions of dollars on the line that I have
right,
to have this time written. So, and then there's the sitting there with the integrity part, right? In which we're all sitting there trying to make sure that the rhyme is up to this standard. That when people hear it to this day, you can listen to lyricists' lounge rhymes and they still
oh yeah,
crazy because
crazy,
because of the time that we put into it. A lot of that balance, right? So as you get older or just in the game, or just maybe a lot of people now, is just understanding that business does not care about your feelings. You know what I'm saying?
and I
And
guess it's a mindset too, right? Like,
uh, it's a mindset of like
yeah,
had to have that understanding of when I'm doing this song for somebody or I'm hired to do this. I'm a songwriter, so I'm hired, which means I
right.
have a
The
job.
output got to be there. Yeah,
So you got to separate your personal projects versus your business acumen, and and that's kind of how my mindset is. Like nobody cares about what I got going on. They just want the food.
right. That's
They
good
don't.
words right there, man.
Nobody
Yeah,
cares what's going on in the chef life. They just want the
that's
food to
true.
come.
You just want the
So
food. Yeah, that's right. It better taste good too.
yeah, and you just kind of got to go with that mindset of you have to be able to hit that switch based on the fact that we've come up so long doing this. So many situations have trained us to understand. Remember, writing in the studio, writing at the studio, writing at another studio, nighttime, daytime. There's so many
Yeah.
there's so many boot camps that we've gone through as artists and
Oh yeah.
creatives that you just gotta be understanding that business and corporations and things like that aren't going to care about that, and you just gotta hit that switch, understand the situation at hand, and that's kind of my approach with it, you know. So after
Oh
after
yeah.
writing after writing stuff that you've created, what's it been like for you to have this revision process? How do you keep everything, or do you erase it? What's your revision process? How do you know it's dope?
Yeah, I know it's dope, man. Like, yeah, my process is a little bit kind of rigorous. I don't say rigorous, man, but it's once I write my rhymes, man, and after what I kind of demo them in the studio, right? So I record it just to see how it sounds, and
Yeah,
I bounce it, and I have it in my phone. I play it in my car. Like it might just be the first 16 bars. Um, there's two reasons for that. Is to figure out exactly if what I got right now is sounds good enough, because it's not just about with me. It's not, and it should be for everyone else too. It's not just about what you're writing; it's how you're saying it. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like sometimes something can sound much more incredible, depending on how you say it, than just, you know what I mean. If you just nonchalantly just reading it off and writing, rapping it, you know what I mean. So I think when I write it, I don't necessarily know how I want to say it. I have an idea, but until I hear it, there's certain things I might take out because it just sounds annoying. Like over time, you know, it might be like an ad lib or something, bro. You know what I mean? Like you might hear an ad lib, like, yeah, man. Like the more you hear the ad lib, it just sounds more annoying. You know, so
I'm
I just take that out. You know what I mean?
we got
And
a
so,
we got a
yeah,
song, and you said it first with like, let's say you say uh and things pinned, and then like you might then at the next time I heard it you changed it just like and things pinning, like you just changed
yeah,
the
yeah. You
uh,
mentioned that to
end
me.
of
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
You know what I mean? The suffix of
yeah.
it. You just wanted to add the suffix
Something
of it,
simple. Yeah, yeah,
even
exactly.
though
Because I felt
it
like
sounded good without it.
yeah, I'm not sure exactly what bar you're talking about, but let's use that as an example. And I think when I heard things pen, like it, repeatedly hearing it, I just kept hearing in my head penning. You know what I mean? So I just say, you know what, I'm gonna go back in there and I'm gonna re-rap it, or I'm gonna just maybe punch in that one part just to see how it sounds. And
Yeah,
so I typically do that, and just so I can get an idea where the song is flowing, right? So I got the 16 already laid, and then if I had the hook already, the song is pretty much done, because it's like when you hit me the other day and you was like, "Yo, I got a hook." The song's done, because typically when you got the hook, I know how to flow off of the hook after the hook is over. And not only that, but you understand what the concept of that record is too, so you can write to that concept, right? So
right.
the hook kind of like pulls everything together. I'm a hook guy, you know what I mean? And nothing against people who just like to rap without hooks, but and you don't always have to have a hook, right? But sometimes a beat sounds like it needs a hook, and the hook sometimes helps you write, write, continue writing your second verse. If you want to do a third verse, you know what I mean, what have you, right? So just to answer your question, man, it's a lot of like piecing the puzzles together, and then once I have everything recorded as a rough draft, if the quality is good, I might leave it as is. If not, I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna record the whole thing over again, and I'll probably do it flawlessly. People debate whether or not that's a good idea, because sometimes music, you want to sound natural. You might want to keep some kind of like mistakes in there, but that's really not my goal. My goal is to try to get it as clean and as perfect as I can. If I mess
So
up and it sounds good, then that's cool.
so when you're writing the rhymes, so when I'm listening to your rhymes, you gotta like a balance, right? So I'll hear like some, it might have some like kind of braggadocious bars in there, but then at the same time you're in there like telling the story. So I've seen like it'll be a mixture. So
Yeah.
what's the vibe of how do you gauge um storytelling versus kind of random bars? What do you enjoy doing the most? What when you're creating your projects? What's your primary focus?
I think storytelling is probably number one for me, man. I think, and if it's not storytelling, it's a concept, right? So, and what I mean is like I'm not just rapping, just random bars, which I love to do as well. But I think it's just more. I think it's more fun, and I think the records that really stand out are the ones that are based on a story. Even if it's not a full story from front to back, it could just be like a snippet or something in between a verse, you know what I mean? Inside of a verse somewhere, maybe 8 bars or something like that. Storytelling, I think from the get go, like I mentioned, Dolores, right? That was a story joint that I wrote on the plane, and I got a lot of story records, man. And I think I just fell in love with that kind of like writing process, man, and just concept wise, because I like when I listen to things, I like to visualize what someone's saying, right? And so you can take me from A to Z, and I'm just like I can picture everything, kind of like reading a book. They always say reading a book is better than watching the movie. You know what I
Right.
mean? And I think it's because you can just add details in there, and it's more intriguing. You're not seeing it in front of your face, but your mind is visualizing it. You know what I mean? So I think writing stories to me is fun. I think more fun than writing just braggadocious bars, because I think braggadocious bars is like is dope, and I love it because you can get really witty, right? And but I think it's more or less me trying to impress my peers, man. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you can just be so witty, man. I let my wife hear something or my homie hear something and they don't get it. You know what I mean? It's not to say that.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
that's
you
the
know what I mean?
so I'm telling you that's the best audience. When they say they don't get it, then you know
Yeah,
they
they will.
ain't where it need to be.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, and if they don't get it, they will get it because they'll listen to it again and they'll come back to me and they'll be like, yo, bro, I heard that record like 4 times after you said that part right there, and every time I hear it, I hear something new, bro. You know, so but nah, storytelling to me, I think always helped me, man. I'm a huge Nas fan, and Nas always has some kind of concept stories or something at the end where there's like a plot twist or something like that. Cool G rap, you know what I mean? That like just dudes that just like keep you captivated from beginning to end, man. And I just love that, man. Storytelling to me is really dope. I just think you just got to find a way to keep it original, you know what I mean, and keep the listener captivated and engaged in what you're saying. You know what I mean?
How was you able to find like that balance between writing battle raps versus songs? Because you said I read in your bio you would do battle.
Right, yeah.
So what's that? Are you still in the? Do you like the battle rap scene today, or what was your like versus your song?
So I think when I was writing rhymes back then and battling, bro. Well, when I was writing battle raps back then, which I don't really battle too much right now, but I feel like those kind of bars really helped me make music to this day because it made me think out of the box, man, with a lot of attacks that I wanted in my and you know it was really more about like the delivery of the lyrics, you know what I mean? And so battle rapping back then in particular, how when I was doing it, like put aside the whole in-person stuff, right? I mean, there was a portion of my battle rap time, man, where I was doing a lot of online battling. So it was like you versus I don't know, like a screen, like just like a profile name, bro. You didn't have no information on this person except the profile name. Right. So it was more, yeah. So it was like, all right, you're literally just tearing apart just a name. You know what I mean? So I learned how to think out the box and be creative, and obviously just learning how to write aggressive rhymes, delivery, punchlines was a big thing. You know what I mean? Like punchlines, as everybody's waiting to hear that one bar that's going to knock, you know what I mean? Like verbally knock someone out. You know what I mean? So I take that when I write my rhymes now, and I'm like, all right, well, it's not really against somebody, but the whole concept is still the same. You know what I mean? It's you're not rapping against somebody. You might mention somebody's name, but it might not be a diss. It might just be, you know what I mean? You just a delivery towards a certain group of people, or it might be in a story, you know, like we were speaking about, man. But I just try to take that whole delivery system.
Are there some battle rappers you like of that battle today? You watch the scene a lot or anything?
I don't watch it now. I don't watch it that much, man. Like I used to battle a lot with this rapper named Nestle. Back then.
I know Nestle.
He and I used to battle a lot. We got songs together too as well. Damn, man, there's a few, man. I mean, Tone Deaf used to battle back then. The same kind of online site I was telling you about, rap music, man. There's a lot of people that went through there, man. J. Cole was on there at one point. Hopsin was on there at one point. A lot of people went through that site because it was a moment in time, bro, where it was the internet era. You know what I mean? Like Napster and everything. So everybody was trying to get their music on an MP3, and everybody was trying to figure out how to record their own music at home. So, you know, here we are. We got this arena where we can battle against each other, and there was always a cash prize or some kind of prize. You know what I mean? So it was an incentive to sit down for a week and come up with a diss record against somebody that you never met, you never known before. But how I look at it now is it just really helped me, man, to get my pen game up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they still got artists that.
I wouldn't do that now, bro. But you know,
yeah, they got artists. I think this artist named Eunice, he got found online, battling online, like typing bars, and now he's on
yeah, they used to do that to just literally just words. You know what I mean? Like but I never understood that. You know what I mean? Like I didn't want to sit down and write read somebody's diss record. You know what I mean? I want to hear them rap. You know what I mean? And most of them dudes, they probably ain't got the voice to rap, man. You know what I mean? Or the cadence or anything like that. But they was really nice with just typing it out. You know. But to answer your question about the scene,
but I'm glad you said that because the voice to rap. Like I think you have like a
Oh
unique
yeah,
when you're rapping, you could tell like me hearing that and then learning your Jamaican, I was able to
yeah.
like put it together. My pops was Jamaican. I don't necessarily his background like that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, but I grew up in Brooklyn. That's heavy. A lot of my friends.
Everybody Jamaican over there, sir.
I, I'm probably the only one of my crew of friends I grew up with that did not do rockers and reggae. Like I'm the only one.
Oh wow.
So I grew up. I actually was talking to my boy this morning, DJ Club Killer, and
Yeah.
he that's what he does a lot of times, play reggae and rockers and so on and so forth. But
Right, right.
I went hip hop with it. But I
Oh
wanted
yeah.
to you make beats or right? You make beats.
Oh yeah, I definitely, yeah, man. Come on now. I made beats, man. I love making beats. Like I told you, man. I've been a drummer before I started rapping.
Oh,
You know
I
what I
didn't know.
mean? So
But
yeah,
here's the thing.
I play drums, man.
So you make beats, but you work with these like iconic producers. A lot of these iconic producers, and you make beats. How do you feel about like producing for yourself or getting beats from these producers? How do you draw that balance? Because you got people that make beats and they're not making it on the level of the producers that they
Yeah.
make.
And that's the
Where's
reason
that balance?
why. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's tough, man. I mean, I love making beats because there's really no pressure, man. Like I sit down and I feel like it's just all just being just creative. I don't have to worry about saying anything nice, you know what I mean? Like, and I don't got to worry about nobody hearing it because right now I'm not really putting myself out there as a producer. I'm more or less still trying to hone my craft behind the scenes on the low in the dark. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a moment in time, bro, where I'm just gonna come out and I'm just gonna I already got my producer name, man. It's Span. It's Nap spelled backwards. So so I'm gonna hit him over the head with some beats real soon because one of my goals is to actually produce my own record with my own beats entirely. And it was
And then
really because I got tired of just dealing with all of the politics and did working with a lot of different producers and artists too as well, man. It's very hard to find like people like yourself, man, where the vibes is always good. You know what I mean? And you ain't got to worry about no bullshit. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's
But
why
yeah.
I started doing projects with just one producer to make it less of a headache because there's so many.
Hold on real quick, my bro.
Yeah,
Yeah. All right, my
yeah.
bad. Go ahead.
No, good. That's why I started doing projects with one producer because it was just less of a headache. Like when you got everybody wants to have their own person mix it, or they want to mix it, and it just started to get kind of crazy. But I felt like it was uh, the projects came out more cohesive. So what do you like? You like making the beats better than writing the verses? Which one do you
Oh
prefer?
no, I'm a
Because
rap, like I'm a musician, right? But like I mentioned, I love playing the drums. But when it comes to writing rhymes, it's very hard for me to just write rhymes, make beats, write rhymes, make beats. Yeah, I gotta pick what I want to do right now. So I feel like right now I'm more geared towards writing rhymes and being a MC instead of just being just a producer. But yeah, that's why I mess with. If somebody can do something better than me, one, I'm gonna try to learn how to do it, right? But right now, in moment in time, if somebody can do something better than me as far as producing, I'm gonna deal with that. Same thing with like with them. Same thing like mixing and engine, like mixing records. Like I know how to mix my records too, but there's somebody else out there that's been doing it their whole life, and if it's gonna make this record sound much better than I could do it,
yeah,
right now, I'll let them handle it. You know what I'm saying? But again, I'm still working to learn these things as well. You know what I mean? Mixing, mastering, production, all of these things, man. There's a moment in time where I'm going to come out and I've already mixed my own records. But again, I'm just, I don't know. I don't know if it's a perfectionist mentality, but it's definitely, I feel like I'm going to let you handle it if you know how to do it better than I can do it right now. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But there's going to come a time where, you know, I can't just keep relying on this one person over and over and over and over again. It might be something where it's just monetarily not feasible for me to do. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah,
got to do something, even around the house, right? I mean, it's things that you got to learn how to do yourself. That you can't be calling the AC man or the plumber every time something happens. You got to know how to do something for yourself, right? So to save money and just being a man in general too. You got it's intriguing to learn things, new things. You know what I mean? So I'm
yeah.
always trying to learn new things, but I wouldn't call myself a professional producer or professional engineer or anything like that until I am one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, you got to know, you got to have somebody to pass the ball to, and then when you need to score 30, you score 30. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. I
So
like that one, man.
when you're going from the beats and all of that, what's your studio setup?
Yeah, well, right now my studio is kind of cluttered, man. I don't know if it's like a beautiful chaos or what, man. Every
But
time I
what do you
show
do
people,
to record?
oh, well, I use a Rode NT microphone. I keep it basic with the preamp. I wanna start upgrading my equipment, man. But I'm one of those guys who's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it type of thing. You know what I mean? Especially if somebody's gonna be mixing my records for myself. I just want to make sure that the raw vocals that I create are ready to go. Like, you know what I mean? It's already clean, man, and so the engineer don't gotta do too much things when they mixing my record, Eddie Sancho and all that, you know what I mean? So but yeah, my setup is I got a Rode NT, I got a Focusrite cheap kind of like preamp, and I got, some KRK power monitors, a turntable, some records, and an MPC and an SP404 and MIDI controller, keyboard. I got everything, all of the basic necessities for the studio, man. It's nothing high
What are you
tech.
are you on you on Ableton or Pro Tools? What's
Oh,
that?
yeah, Pro Tools, man. And
Okay.
I'm from the. I used to use Cool Edit. Cool Edit was a software back then, man. I don't know if people remember Peter Questguard. That was like a software that everybody was pirating back in the day, man. Peter Questguard was the person that you had to put in and the serial number, and then you had this software where you could record yourself. But the thing is, it wasn't like Pro Tools where it was non-destructive. Well, what I mean by non-destructive is like you can record something, and then if you don't like it after you put the effects on it, you could just take the effects off.
Okay.
Cool Edit is more or less if you put the effects on it, if you save it, you can't take the effects off. You know what I'm saying? And so it's almost like you gotta like save a version where it's just raw vocals, and then you gotta save another version where you playing around with it, and just know once you save it, you can't undo it. So anyway, I went from Cool Edit, and then my Windows machine had crashed, and I was like, damn, man. I had a Mac computer with Pro Tools on it, and I didn't want to go to Pro Tools, man, because I knew Cool Edit, you know what I mean? I knew the corners of that thing, you know what I mean? But it forced me to use Pro Tools, and I haven't changed since, man. I love Pro Tools. People argue with me back and forth, the Ableton guys and Logic guys, but Pro Tools, they all do the same thing, man.
Yeah. I mean, whatever you got, I just send you the waves, and it'll flow into whatever
Right,
what you
exactly.
got anyway. So, all right.
Right.
So we do like a top 5 or things like that. But I'm figuring you from Jamaica, them ting
Yeah, you better know.
I wanted to ask like Jamaican artists you grew up on. So I'm gonna give my 3 real quick.
Yeah.
I grew up in the Barrington Levy era too with that stuff.
Oh, yeah, man. What you mean, man?
Yeah, right? So one of my, but then also I got Buju, man. Untold Stories,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
That's one of my favorite records ever. Just like
Yeah,
Untold.
man, yeah.
Oh man, like I could
Little
listen to,
Shiloh.
yeah, man, that album, and just like that Untold Stories, man, just like, man, the video, but also just driving with it, it puts me in the zone of like, it's one of
Oh,
those,
yeah.
a scene, like a movie scene of what's going on.
Right.
And,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
and then I'm gonna take it to the legend Shabba Ranks when I was younger.
Yo,
he,
Shabba Ranks is a legend.
he was running things, man. I
Yeah,
want
man.
to mention Pinches, right? I believe Pinches.
Pinchers. Yeah, man. Yeah. No Pinchers too.
And then if I'm right, because been Yellow Man.
Yellow Man, the king of dancehall.
Yo,
Let's
so
go.
that's my upbringing with it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Give me a couple of your favorite Jamaican
You know
artists.
why I like Yellow Man? I like Yellow Man because you got me speaking my Jamaican accent now. I
Yeah,
like yo, I like Yellow Man because Yellow Man he's a guy where he know how to control the crowd, and he's a student of the music, right? So a lot of those dancehall artists back then, they hail Yellow Man as the king of dancehall, man. Because
yeah,
I mean, Yellow Man's story is so intriguing and compelling, bro. Like I don't even want to go down that kind of rabbit hole because I mean, they found this guy. You know, obviously he's got the albino. He's albino, right? But back then, the Jamaicans, they used to call it this thing called dundus, which is like basically they looked at you like you were like you're not human. You know what I'm saying? So
mm,
those babies, man, like you know, they found him in the trash in the garbage can. You know what I
wow,
mean? Yeah, yeah. And so somebody took him in, and he was raised in like an orphanage, you know what I mean? Something like that, man. So, and his whole life he was looked upon as being just weird, you know. And then he had the jaw cancer, and they removed the jaw, and so he looked even more like just unhuman, you know what I mean? Just, but he prevailed through all of that, man. And so he's hailed as a king of dancehall. But the artists that I grew up with, man, like remembering a lot of times, my family played a lot of like Dennis Brown, Alton Ellis, Freddie McGregor, Barry Hammond, um, what am I tell you? A lot of the singers them man that they have something to say. And then obviously then you have the dancehall artists like Buju Band like yeah, well Buju always he had culture music too as well.
yeah,
But then you have the dancehall as well too. But then you have Sizzler, you have Anthony B. These are all Rastaman them, you know. And then you have um um not a Rastaman but Vibes Cartel. They used to rate him as like being the Nas of reggae of dancehall music down there. Um, bro, we can go on, man. You mentioned Bone
I
Tequila,
just,
yeah,
just
Bone Tequila,
yo, I just wanted
Ninja
to
Man.
get into a few. I just want to go into a few. Bounty Killer. Yo, I just wanted to get into a few because man, walking into a party and you found your spot on the wall, so
Bro.
you know the dancing and all that. So I just wanted to get into that because
Oh
knowing
yeah,
my background, me growing up in Brooklyn, and that's primarily what my friends were playing around me. And Brooklyn is growing up in the Caribbean area and New York. That's what it
yeah.
is. But yo, I wanna thank you for being on the show, and I
Oh
appreciate
man.
you taking time out to work on music with me too, man. Because I like the music that you do, man, and I really am late to the party on you with doing music because when I mentioned doing music with you to other people, they were like have to. They mentioned that you've been rocking since days of have to when I got my first deal, but we never
Absolute record. Yeah, right,
we, ne- we never bumped heads to really, engage in
it's
music.
because the thing is, man, I'm in Florida, right? So and this is what I'm guilty of, man. It's not really mingling too much, not putting myself out there, especially up north, right? Like I find myself like, I mean, just life happens so quick, man. Like you don't even really know like who you really are until like you look back at it, you know what I mean? And it's like, damn, like bro, like you know what I mean? I came up with so many things and so much. Yeah, I feel like my body of work is so large, like so great, you know what I mean? Like right now, and it's just like when did all of this happen? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I want to tell people out there, go, he got a lot of albums, and that's one thing as artists and friends and so on and so forth. Despite us being friends and artists, y'all, we don't hit every album we all did. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah, yeah, right, right.
Like they're trying to create and so on and so forth. But I tell y'all, go out there and check out all his projects, Napsndreds. So once again, I like to thank you for being on the show. And before we go, y'all, I like to ask y'all, what are your words worth? Peace. Sign up now at elevate.miami.edu for my course, Organized Rhyme. Looking at the word legacy, while involving some wordplay, I'll use the first syllable to build upon. We'll use the first syllable, leg. For the second syllable, we'll use an. And for the third syllable, we'll use the word knee. So now we have leg and knee. Can we use it in context with legacy? Let's just see.
Wordsworth Productions with a S.com for all merch.
I got 2 books available right now with Words of Worth Volume 1, and I also have a children's book called Socks. Age range from 12 to 15, so it's kind of like the middle school and high school age range, but adults can read it as well. Shout out to our sponsor, the Wizker. If you're into skincare, the Wizker will help prevent razor bumps and make sure you got smooth skin all around. Make sure you order it on Amazon, the Wizker. Make sure you check out Wordsworthproductions.com. There you can book me if you want to book me for shows, consultations, panels, and things of that nature. And also it'll give all the upcoming shows that I'll be attending or performing at or appearing at as well. Wordsworthproductions.com. We write plays, books, movies, anything that deals with writing and creativity. Contact us.